Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, tmosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions. Today, we have my first and favorite answer to the question, what is the biggest mechanical watch you can recommend for a wrist that cannot get enough case size? So if you are an NFL offensive lineman, this is your watch. In fact, one might even say this is the Rolex Explorer for the big man. So at 49.2 millimeters in diameter in steel, this is a model that was launched back in 2004. It's the Omega Railmaster, 49 millimeters. Now, you can see this is part of the Seamaster Aquaterra collection, but it is a standalone Railmaster variant. There are more Aquaterra adjacent styles in this case size, if that's what you want. So this one harks back to the Railmaster, which was like a technician's watch, an engineer's watch, to match the IWC Ingenieur and the Rolex Milgauss back in the 50s. This is a much larger case size, however. At 49.2 millimeters in diameter, it is surprisingly slender, as the timepiece is only 12.5 millimeters thick and 55.8 millimeters from lug to lug, with the 24 millimeter spacing between the lugs. On my wrist, it is comically oversized. This thing really could make a big pilot's watch look like a mid-size. You could see that down the barrel, the lugs are far out over the edge of my wrist, so I believe you need a wrist of at least 18 centimeters circumference to wear this well. That said, it is thin. It's only about as thick as a sub or a GMT, which means it can fit underneath a sleeve, provided your sleeve is broad enough, not necessarily high enough, but broad enough to fit over it. It has a remarkably luxurious stock strap for an Omega watch, large rectangular symmetrical scale alligator leather. When scales are large, rectangular, and symmetrical, you know you are looking at the best and most expensive cut of the beast. Now, there's a little bit of bolstering, a sheer cut side that's lacquered for refinement, a contrasting stitch, and then calfskin on the bottom. Note, no crimping, no gouging, brand new strap. We've got a buckle to hold the watch on your wrist. Twin trigger release means it will not inadvertently pop open. It's very secure. And then we have a combination of tabs and a pin so that all the excess length sticks itself underneath the clasp and the strap, so it's a very clean look when sized, and there's no minder loops, so minder loops don't clutter the aesthetic of the watch. Now, of course, we've got these lyre-style lugs, beloved of Omega fans since the early 60s, inward and outward bevels, with the outward bevels being polished and longitudinal, running from end to end. We have satin finish at the mid-case and a slightly stepped and conical bezel with a crown that, although not a screw-down, is still compatible with the 150-meter water resistance rating. On the dial side, we have a very minimally cambered sapphire, and then a set of tri-Arabic numerals with small seconds, a broad arrow minute hand, and a Dauphine-style hour hand. Vintage elements. You can see the original late 1950s Railmaster script on the dial, which is matte for low glare and high contrast, and this absolutely blazes with torch-like power in the dark. This is one of those dusk till dawn loom watches that will make it through the night without recharging. Turn it all over, and you'll be surprised to find an Omega Chronometer application of the ageless Unitas 6498. Now, this is going to be the 6498-2 because the beat rate is 3 hertz and the power reserve is 53 hours. But it's a huge movement that's 37.2 millimeters in diameter, meaning this movement, originally created for pocket watches and desk clocks, is larger in size than a standard Rolex Datejust in its entirety. You can see a 17-jewel array, and it's really elementary watchmaking. We have our crown wheel, our ratchet wheel atop the barrel, center wheel, third wheel, fourth wheel, escape wheel, and then a huge balance with Edicron for fine adjustment. It is adjusted in 5 positions, which is the chronometer standard, because this is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer doing business as Omega Caliber 2201. You can see that although machine finished, it's very attractive with several different sizes of engine turning, Côte de Genève, machined bevels. We have gold plating inside the jewel sinks as a nod to golden chaton pocket watch construction historically. We have solarization on the ratchet wheel as well as the crown wheel, and you can see that their teeth have been polished with polished screws. It is a really good looking watch and a rare one. So if you're that worst case scenario wrist that can't get enough size and you're looking for a wrist clock to do justice to your beefy forearm, look no further. Reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.